It's time for the best combination, delicious pastries and acrylic markers. Welcome to Piper Creates Chaos. I have a beautiful new set to test out today thanks to Arrtx. And what better thing to draw than food? By the look of them, these colors are vibrant. Plus, they have some pastels and I love those colors. Their sketchbook is also the perfect paper for acrylic markers, I also use them for oil pastels, but that's not the point. I chose these pastries also because there are lots of color, and it's a great chance to test out some color theory. But if you're also new to acrylic markers, don't worry. This video will cover that too. When you first uncap, you'll see that these are direct ink soft brushes. That means all you need to do is shake and draw. Plus, you can see how much ink there is inside just in case you're running low. As a soft brush, the tip is very flexible and the paint will naturally flow out, so you don't have to work hard to get the ink flowing. Of course, while they look pretty, I'm swatching all 60 colors just so we can see how vibrant they are. And as I'm drawing, it's super smooth and there's no muted colors. What you see is what you get. I'm typically a big fan of the different colors of purple and blues that they have. They're my most favorite, so I actually really like when sets come with a bunch of different shades. Plus, I think that swatching all of them really helps for figuring out which markers to use when you start coloring. Speaking of that, I'm first going to start with the Mochi Donut. I also wanted to showcase some color theory, or at least explain a bit as I color, so I'm going to start with the icing. The icing appears a reddish purple, so I'm mostly going to stick with different shades, meaning adding black to the color to create a darker version, or tints, which is adding white to create a lighter version. So I'm not going to really deal with any analogous or complementary, which we'll get into that later. This is primarily using the same color, but adding black or white to create lightness and darkness. Now, as you see, I'm coloring the outsides darker and the insides a little bit lighter. This is for the highlight of the light, as if it was coming more from the top. I want to create a nice smooth blend between these, so you can see I'm using my finger. For acrylic markers, they dry very fast, so you only have a few seconds to actually blend. So I find it easiest to keep them uncapped and quickly switch between the colors, using my finger to smoothly blend. The colors that I'm mainly using are the reddish purple, some pink, and some purple. So although they're not necessarily the same shade and tint lines, they're definitely very analogous. So they're very similar and it's as if they are the same colors. Sometimes with different sets, you don't get every single color available, so you have to make your own colors. And that's where blending and layering comes in handy. Now, for the next step, I'm coloring over and blending with purple. Now, purple will create a little bit more of a shadow for underneath the icing, underneath the blueberries, so I'm trying to layer that down along the left side. For the actual pastry, it's more of a brown, yellowish orange color. Yellow and orange are analogous colors, and I want to dive into that a little bit. Analogous is a term where if you look on the color wheel, you can see that yellow and orange are next to each other. This means that the colors are similar, they're more harmonious, and they go well together. So for the pastry, I'm using both orange and yellow to color. The opposite of that is complementary colors, and that's what I'll be applying to the icing. Complementary colors are complete opposites. They are very different, and they're directly across from each other on the color wheel. Complementary colors, while very different, work together very well if you're trying to neutralize or create darker shades. For the icing, I first put down a light purple, which is nothing like yellow. But when I layer the yellow on top, you can see that the purple starts to turn into a darker shade of yellow. Now this shade would be very different than if I just used black or if I ended up using a darker yellow. By using purple, although it does neutralize some, it actually creates a more interesting and a more contrasting shade. If I just used black, honestly, it would look a little flat. Lots of artists try to avoid just using black for shading because it can seem overpowering or a little flat. If you use just dark yellow, it will appear a lot more vibrant, but it won't have as much dimension. Now with using acrylic markers, don't worry about mixing the colors. The markers might pick up a different color, like the yellow could pick up some of the purple on the base, but it's super easy to fix. All you have to do is wipe off on your hand, on a sheet of paper, on literally anything until the color comes off. Since the paint continues to flow in these direct ink markers, it ends up being extremely easy. Now I want to go in for the blueberries. I did the base, but now I love how smooth and how bright these blueberries are. I'm using purple with this analogous color for blue, and I'm using that to shade. Again, I'm going in with my finger and I'm blending it, and I am using a bunch of different shades of blue, and all of them are so vibrant. So I'm really liking how much they pop and how bright it's really coming off. But if I didn't blend with my finger, it would look just like how it did when I first applied the marker. So blending it really creates the smooth gradient, but if you don't want it to appear smooth, you can always just layer it. You can keep the colors very distinct, and that's how a lot of different art styles are, but I prefer blending, not just for acrylic markers, but for a lot of other mediums. Now at the end, I'm gonna add in a little bit of an orange dot to the blueberries, and then I'll add the final dots of white. The final dots of white are the powdered sugar. I don't know why, but all of the pastries I chose had powdered sugar on it, and so this is a lot of fine details, a lot of fine dots, but you can see that the very tip of this marker is very well designed for detail. So it works for large areas, it works for fine details, and the white actually is very vibrant. Sometimes the white can come off almost translucent. You might need to do maybe 2 layers, but in general, most of these colors, one and done. Now that we finished the Mochi Donut, let's move on to the second, the fruit tart. And honestly, this is my favorite because it has so many different colors in it. I'm gonna start with only 1 layer because as you can see with each stroke, it really matches the flaky layers that the original pastry has. So I initially like this texture as the foundation. Because acrylic markers are very vibrant and they can cover everything in a very short period of time with little work, I find that they're very good for beginners. They're also very good if you want to draw, but you don't want to use a lot of effort, or if you're short on time. Honestly, these are perfect. They're very smooth, they're easy to use, and they're nice. Plus, if you want to blend, you can, but if you don't have to, and it'll still look good. So I'm now going in with some orange, with some yellow, even with some off-red colors. These would all be, you could say, analogous colors. They're all very similar. If you shift on the color wheel, you're going to get these. You don't have to go across from each other. And they all work very harmoniously. There's no standout colors like purple or blue that just seem very out of place. So these markers are not streaky, but in general, the rule of thumb with acrylic markers is some of them can be streaky, or at least you can see where the stroke was. So for this pastry, I'm making sure that as I color, I'm not going side to side. I'm staying and I'm coloring in the motion and in the shape of the actual pastry. That's how I'm getting all of these lines that look just like the wrapping of the flaky layers. The amount of detail that you want is up to you. I could stop here if I wanted, or I can keep going. Lots of times I think that I've gone dark enough, or I think I've added a lot of dimension, but once you finish coloring, you haven't. It's just any time that you're working on a white background, it instantly changes your perception of depth and darkness, just because white is obviously the brightest color. So sometimes it's also nice to work on backgrounds that aren't just white. Now we're gonna go a little bit into the color theory. So like we did with the icing, yellow's complementary color is purple, but I started with blue, so what am I talking about? I honestly wanted a little different shade, so I went in with a light blue that was closer to purple, and I also added light purple, and then I colored yellow over top. The more yellow I use, the less purple and blue it appears. Now we're also going to do some color theory on these grapes. Green's complementary color is red, meaning if you want a darker green shade, you can use red. For this, for the highlights, I'm using green's analogous color, yellow, so this will be a mix of both. For the red, it's very different from green, so I'm going to blend the green over top and use my finger to create a smooth color. Again, red can be used as the initial base, or you can color green first and then add red and then blend. So it doesn't really matter which order, but you can see that there is a very different color of the shadows of these grapes once I add the red. I like it, it adds a little bit of warmth and it seems a little more interesting and as if the depth has color rather than just a neutralized dark shade. Now for the orange, I'm going to show you what it's like just analogous. I'm only going to use orange, yellow, maybe a little bit of orange red, but I'm not going to use blue, which is orange's complementary color. Now I also want to note that as I'm using this in blending, there's no pilling. Pilling is basically when the sketchbook paper starts coming off as you're drawing, and that means that either the paper is too thin or it's not really adaptable to using acrylic markers, and that really sucks. So this sketchbook is actually really durable if you're looking for the acrylic marker, if you're looking for a lot of layers. You can see that using the dark orange created dimension, but it didn't create a lot of contrast, so it still looks, while vibrant, a little flat. Moving on to the strawberry, I'm only going to do a little bit of color theory with this. I'm going to use purple for the shadows, so purple is one of red's analogous colors. So I'm just going to use that, but I'm focusing on the details here. With this marker, it's really easy to have a lot of control. I have the very small seeds of the strawberry, and I have a bunch of the lines from the inside. And honestly, it's no worry trying to deal with the ink control or trying to deal with smudging different lines. It's very easy to do fine details as well as the big ideas. I also want to note that for highlights, I typically go back. You don't have to save any space for pure white. If you use the white acrylic marker, you might have to use a couple of layers, but it's really easy to add the final touch. I think that adding white at the end or adding an off-white like a very light purple or a very light blue or yellow is a really nice touch and brings the drawing more to life. Now the last fruit is the blackberry, and despite its name, I'm not using only black. If I use just black, it's hard to get dimension because black is the darkest color, so there's not much going on there, but also it would look really flat and overpowering. So instead, I'm using blue and purple, plus a little bit of gray. Now, while combining both of these, you'll get a lot more of a vibrant, colorful berry than just using the black. For each of these little berries on the blackberry, I'm also going to create a little dimension because I need to make them circular. This is where a lot of different lines on each of the berries to create the highlights and to create the blending really stands out. But I honestly like the challenge of trying to figure out what colors to use because again, you can always change your mind. You can always layer, you can always go back and add more. Like I started with blue, then I added purple, then I colored all over in black. I mean, I'm just freestyling here, but you get to know whenever there's black, I use blue and I use purple. If it's brown, I'll use maybe a little bit of pink and purple and some yellow there, so as you color more often, you'll know which colors you want to use for the future. Now the last step for this are the many dots for the powdered sugar. Again, this takes a long time, but the look is very unique, and plus it has to be just like the fruit tart, and there's tons of powdered sugar there, so of course I have to recreate it. I also think that doing all these dots is pretty relaxing at the end because you don't really mess it up. I mean, you can make bigger dots, but you can always go back and add more of the brown if you cover too much. So it's just a nice little detail at the end, and it's easy, you don't gotta think much. Though it is covering up some of the flaky layers, but you know what, we'll let that slide because who cares? I know it was flaky, it's fine. So once I finish this, I'm on to the last dessert, the chocolate donut. Now this color was very interesting because I don't have that exact color in this set. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen this exact color. So it's all about making it. So like I said before with the blackberry, if I'm thinking of brown or a darker brown close to black, I'm thinking blue and I'm thinking purple. Here, I'm going to start off with the blue and then I'm going to blend with the brown and then blend into the light purple. So I'm using the light purple as a way to highlight and soften the color. The blue is to help darken it. I didn't want to use black because that was very harsh and the donut didn't exactly seem like black would be a great color to use. So instead, I went in with these. Now I also have to add in all of the little dot circles on top. This was a handful because There are so many of them. Now, I did not draw all of them, but you go through a very repetitive process, but I'm still hoping to build up this base. Now, I'm going to use a lot of layers for this. I'm starting with the brown, but of course I also needed a snack break because I'm staring at these donuts for like an hour and I have to eat something. So that's delicious. So that's why you only see half of the donut, because I did not keep the whole donut, but that's okay. So back to the drawing. Again, I'm layering with a bunch of different browns. First, I have the darker brown, and then I have a lighter brown because I still want the highlights in the dimension. And because all of these are separate, I'll say spheres, even though they're not fully spheres, but they're separate little spheres, there's a bunch of different light reflections on every single one, just like the blackberry. So as I go in, I'm again using the light purple as part of the highlight, and I'm making it towards the top, a little towards the side, but again on each of the spheres has a different highlight. Plus it has a little bit of a glaze. So at this point, it was very, very detailed, and I decided to simplify the donut a little bit. So I went in with the purple, and then I finished with the white for both the detail and for the powdered sugar. Once I finished that, I added a few little details onto the background. I still wanted to keep a lot of the vibrant colors, just like the fruit tart and the donut. After these decorations, the page is finished, and we have a beautiful 3 dessert spread. Now, I actually really love these. They're so vibrant, and I was really surprised that this turned out as well as it did because I don't have as much practice with acrylic markers. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. And if you're interested in the markers, check out the description.